drifted alarmingly into betting was, Felsted in the morning continued to drift. It was late on the exchanges to lose. It was something you'd see in a Dick Francis novel, Charles Burns.
The ground is soft. It's
heavy.
It's soft on times.
It's heavy.
Okay.
Hello and welcome. It is the Barstewers Inquiry Christmas special, and we're hoping to surpass last year's success by bringing in some recruitments to this show this year. We hope you all enjoy it very much, because we know that Christmas, whilst it's a very pleasant time for many, it can be a very difficult time for some. And remember, we started this podcast for mental health, so we're going to make this show as interesting but also as chirpy and funny as we possibly can. So we thought, who can we get in? We can get the guy in that wore the elf outfit and interviewed JP McManus live on air on ITV at Ascot. It's Matt Chapman joining me, John and Chris. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Hello, lads. Merry Christmas, everyone. Obviously, Nick Luck and Lydia Hislop weren't available, but it's a pleasure to be here. Coming on this show as a guest, I feel it must be the same sensation as people who go to bondage clubs, in that you know it's going to get painful. You know you're going to get abused, but there's just something in there that makes you just go for it and see what happens. And the Bar Stewards is basically, the B is for bondage club.
Do you think that's the reason you left the sex outfit on that? Or was that just because you thought Catherine Fry was on the show tonight?
I think so.
I was a bit worried about which one of you boys might get overexcited. And let's face it, the choice of a night out with you three is not like the best choice.
Not an attractive proposition, is it? Let's face
No.
It isn't.
No, you'd rather just sit on your own.
Keep us at arm's length, this is it.
Yeah.
We've got an action-packed show, so we're going to get on with it. I'm starting the show just with a bit of an icebreaker. I'd like to grill Matt on some real do-or-die questions, and I want it done in the style of, the famous Christmas movie, Matt, Saw.
Oh, yeah, love Saw, yeah.
I want to play a game.
Yeah. I do quite a good impression of that. I go, hello, Lee. Do you want to play a game?
You're not supposed to roll reverse.
No.
Matt Chapman has been kidnapped by Jigsaw, and he's sat in a chair. If he doesn't do the options, he gets set on fire.
Already no one wants me to get a question right, do they? Just so I can burn. I can burn at the stake. Entering
the chamber first is Father Christmas and Father Ted. Father Christmas is chained up and Father Ted's chained up on the other side. You have to press the flamethrower on one of them. Matt, who are you pressing?
Oh, Chris.
Fuck you. Shove it up your arse and fuck off. Why me?
Yeah.
I'm the one who's turned into Joan of Arc, aren't I?
Matt's under pressure here because I bet he likes Father Ted, but at the same time, he's got a young family. And if he says Father Christmas, I would help Matt on this. I'm going to say Father Christmas because I reckon he would probably on Epstein's client.
And Father Christmas?
Yeah, all them elves.
Father Christmas's daughter.
Yeah, the little Pete.
Fucking hell.
It's getting a dark turn already, isn't it?
It's gone very dark. It's gone very Savile, isn't it, really? Yes.
So what are we saying? Father Christmas or Father Ted?
Father Christmas.
John?
I'd definitely say Father Christmas. He's best equipped to deal with it because he wears fire retardant stuff.
Yes.
John actually sounds exactly like I imagine Father Christmas sound up north.
Really? We got enough fuck all here again this year, you little bastards. Fuck off. Yeah, empty box, action man, deserter, all of that cake. But yeah.
Next one, we're going to a couple of racehorse trainers event at the arena, and they're chained up. Nicky Henderson and Paul Nicholls.
We'd do them both, wouldn't you?
They're both significant targets.
Yes.
I think it's a tricky one for me, this, because I love Nicky, but I think he's got really annoyed with me recently for reasons that I don't need to go into, but he seems to have got upset with me. Paul Nicholls, I kind of feel a bit sorry for at the moment.
Yeah, lost owners, yeah.
Millionaire trainer Paul Nicholls, yeah, we'll feel sorry for him.
Does the one I pick get punished?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, punishment. It's got to go to Nicky, I'm afraid.
Yes.
All he had to do was get Constitution Hill to jump, and he didn't. So it's Nicky.
Nicky for me as well, because he's about 80% proof. So imagine
Yes.
Fireball, that'd make.
With Nichols, you'd have to render the fat off first, wouldn't you? And that would take a bit of time before you
Yeah.
actually got to the meat. So
Harsh,
Yeah.
harsh,
Yeah,
harsh,
yeah.
harsh.
we don't care.
So, John, your answer?
Roasted pumpkin for me because he'd go berserk, wouldn't he?
You like them bad dreams you have? Where
Sleep paralysis.
yeah, you're like Undertaker and they get up again. And I'd see like Paul Nicholls as being like that. And he'd carry on chasing you.
Just
you know?
walks out the fire and gives you a tombstone powder area.
Yeah. Anyway, next one. More Christmassy, this one. A nicer one, this one. 2 foods have come into the Saw building, and it's trifle or Christmas pudding.
Oh, 100% Christmas pudding.
Yeah, set that on fire.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thing you do set on fire.
Yes.
Also, I
Flambe.
think trifle's actually quite nice. And the thing with trifle is there are layers, so that even if you don't like the jelly, you've always got the custard. If you don't like the cream, you can go to the jelly. So there are options with custard, whereas with Christmas pudding, I just think that after 2 mouthfuls, you're thinking, fuck, I'm so full now. It's not that I don't like it. It's just really filling. But the only good thing about Christmas pudding is the amount of brandy you can pour on it. That's quite useful. I'd have to keep trifle and Christmas pudding goes in.
Go with that.
John?
Christmas pudding every time.
Yeah.
I've got to agree. I've even got the producer sourcing me a good trifle for dessert on Christmas Day. So
I bought one yesterday.
Ooh, look at you.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yeah. Big round one. Not the little pots where you can just have your individuals. No, big round fat strawberry trifle. It will be having more cream put on top of it than it's got at the moment. Not that kind, but the proper cream.
We're unanimous on this.
Okay.
Next one is 2 absolute juggernauts of the game have now entered the Saw building. Mega influential people.
Julie Harrington, and who's the other one?
That we'll get to that.
Not quite.
Sheikh Mohammed and John Magnier.
Ooh. Well, look, for me, that's a very simple one. Sheikh Mohammed would go in, to be honest. I keep Magnier.
Well, Magnier's human rights record's a bit better than Sheikh Mohammed's, I think. So, yeah, I'd agree with that, to be honest.
That's 3 yeses. John?
If you're not terrified of Magnier, you're probably dead. Sheikh Mohammed.
I like this one. Frankie Dettori or Ryan Moore?
Can you put them both in?
You could probably fit them in. Yeah, you could do.
Yeah, you can do a double press. Yeah.
I'd do a double whammy and try and sell it to Frank Warren for TV rights or something and try and make a few quid out of it.
Yeah.
How hard is Ryan to interview, Matt? Do you find him really, really difficult?
The thing with Ryan is, and I have to say this honestly, off camera, he is electric to talk to. He's interesting. I have loads of conversations with him that you just think afterwards, I wish someone else could hear what I've just heard. But on camera, he just doesn't want to do it. And the thing with Ryan is he doesn't even give Hayley, his sister, any time of day either. He just doesn't like doing it. I don't know why really we bother. And I do think I'm sure we might have a chat a little bit during the show maybe about the flat season, but if you replaced what happened this season, if you replace Graffard with Farb and you replace Soumillon with Ryan Moore, the flat season would have been horrific. But because we had Soumillon and Graffard, the flat season was really interesting because you had these 2 great characters who would talk at length. So it does make a difference. So if I had a choice between those 2, I would put Ryan in just because at least you can speak to Frankie. And Frankie, when he's on song, he is interesting and entertaining. Ryan, I'm not putting in because I don't like him. I'm just putting in because he's pointless for me in my job, if that makes sense.
Yeah, perfect sense.
Yeah.
That was an interesting answer, wasn't it? That was a silence the bastards.
Well, no, it's quite a considered answer, that. Yeah, no, we're not as thick as we seem, although...
I was intrigued by the answer. John?
I pulled Ryan's feet in the fire and said, "Talk now, you little bastard."
Yeah.
It's Frankie for me every time.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this. I don't care. The Frankie that you see on TV and the laughy, jerky guy, he's not the same off the pitch. I'm not going to go into that. But Frankie every time, he's done a lot of great publicity for racing, don't get me wrong. And he's a tremendous jockey. But at the same time, when he refused that autograph off that kid when I was there at Southall back in the day, and I saw it with my own eyes, I was horrified. Frankie Dettori for that reason.
Lee, the only thing I would say with that is that there isn't a comedian or a famous sportsman that's ever been born, really, I don't believe, who's exactly the same as the character that you see on TV or is protracted in books or whatever. You couldn't be Frankie Dettori, the showman, every minute of your life. That's the only thing I would say. It's impossible.
Chris, you always say that a lot of people, and particularly in racing, punditry and everything else, it's like personas, and that persona is
character. Yeah, it's actually they're kind of portraying something for the media. Yeah, I agree with that. Very, very few people are the same on camera as off, because they're playing a part.
Example of that is me. When I got invited to the round table, the BHA wouldn't sit down with me if I was at the table, right?
Hold on, Lee. Let's just get this straight, because I've not heard this on this podcast before. You didn't sit down with some people at a big meeting once, did you?
You've never mentioned it. Yeah,
You get the BHA wouldn't sit down with me if I was at the table. And it took James Noyes 20-minute call. We were persuaded to do so on the premise that Keys has a different persona on the pod compared to in real life, whether you believe that. That was the reason. I'll move swiftly on. You're all out for me this show. You're horrible fuckers. Right, next one. Entering the chamber. More food here. Indian or Chinese?
Oh, I can't put either in. I absolutely adore both. I refuse.
Oh, we're going to set you on fire.
I'm fine. I'll be Joan of Arc. I don't care. There's no way I'm getting rid of Indian or Chinese.
going to Dutch it, isn't he? He's going to go for both. Rotten bet, that is.
And if I had to put one in, it would be, I'd put Chinese in after, but I absolutely adore both. But I'm not giving up a chicken korma ever. Or onion bhajis or chutney. Never.
As Cook on Sunday sponsor our podcast, I'd like to get our resident chef, Mr. Jonas Leng, to settle this. Indian or Chinese, John? There's only one surviving.
I'd have to put Indian in, I'm afraid, because...
Oh, no! Get rid of it.
As I get older, Matt, I can cope less and less with ghee before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I need a pound of Gaviscon, honestly.
At least an Indian can jet propel you through the day later on.
This is true. But,
for me, I think John likes Chinese more because there's more roadkill on the menu. Well, the Chinese that I frequent in York, certainly.
What's her name?
Sorry?
Don't worry, it's gone way over your head,
the
Lee.
Chinese in York.
I'm getting on my own podcast. This is just not on. I'm getting roasted. Chris, Indian, Chinese, quickly.
Indian, all day long.
Indian.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
wrong.
foreign muck. We don't eat that shit. Yeah.
Wrong. Wrong.
A couple of owners now coming into the building. They've been accosted. They've probably had to be flown from Dubai into Seoul headquarters this winter. But Alex Ferguson and Harry Redknapp.
Fucking hell.
Alex Ferguson, straight away. I'm a Tottenham supporter, so I have no choice but to stay loyal to Harry.
Yeah.
Definitely to Alex.
Yeah. John?
And you took them both?
This is definitely one of the toughest ones for me.
I tell you what, if you put either of them in, the fucking fire would go out, because it's both lucky bad.
Yeah, the Seoul facilities would fail.
You'd run out of gas or something, yeah.
Yeah, Chris.
I'd have to chuck Harry Redknapp in. Actually, I think his relentless marketing for VC bet and all that crap, and he's so lucky, isn't he? Everything he touches turns to gold. So yeah, Harry Redknapp will go in, I think.
Oh, Sandra won't be happy with that, will she? Oh, Sandra.
No.
At least Ferguson's got a bit about him. Harry Redknapp's just an example of someone who can, by sheer luck, had the ability to train men to kick a round object across the field, and he's rewarded completely out of kilter what he's worth. So fuck him, get him in the fire, I say.
Merry Christmas, Chris.
Yeah.
I can't really see why that's different to what Sir Alex did.
Well, Alex enjoyed more success in his chosen profession, didn't he? Let's be honest. And just a better manager. So whilst they're both detestable, I think Harry Redknapp just shades it. A short head.
The next one's good. Dido Harding, Julie Harrington.
Right.
Whoa.
I mean, it's not good, is it? Because there's only one answer.
Come on, Matt.
Well, on the basis that Dido says hello to me and I've met her a few times, on the basis Julie refused to ever meet me, just about. Or she did ask me to come and have a cup of tea. She said that if I came and had a cup of tea, then I might get an interview with her.
Jesus.
I pointed out I didn't want to have a cup of tea with her, and then I never got an interview. But anyway, Julie goes straight in on a slightly extra heated part of the coal.
Extra flames.
Definitely.
Like a BK Whopper.
I'd like to point out at this stage in the podcast that I'm sure Julie is absolutely lovely. It's just we seem to clash personality-wise, and that happens. It happens.
Yeah, you know yourself, Matt. You come across a lot more people than I do, and you cannot please everyone. You cannot make friends with everyone. It's the way it is. Some people like you, some people don't like you. Your attitude, to be honest, and I'll just say this, people that sometimes struggle with this, you're not bothered. You understand that. You'll upset people. People don't like you, and then you get some people that do like you, and it's just part of the job, and that's it. It's quite
100%. It's just like real life.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to absolutely get you who don't know you. And most of the people you meet and talk to don't know you from Adam. So you're trying to get people to say, yeah, I like that person, when they absolutely really don't
Yeah.
know the person other than what
Fair
they
point.
see or hear that might be different to what they like. But in Julie Harrington's case, what annoyed me is Martin Cruddas at ARC, and obviously I worked for ARC, but if I've asked him for an interview, he's never refused an interview. If I've asked him for a particular topic to do with ARC, he's never said, no, don't ask me. And the other thing is, he will run rings round me, as he should be able to do in any interview. And that's where I got frustrated with Julie, because she should have made me look really stupid in every interview, because she should have every single bit of knowledge of what she was doing. That meant that there was nothing I could throw at her that she couldn't bat back at me and make me look like an idiot, which is exactly what Cruddas can do, because he's intelligent enough to do all that. Julie never did it. And that's what infuriated me, that she didn't seem to have the guts to speak to someone like me, and she should
Yeah.
run rings like round a journalist, or even so-called journalist if people want to mock me. We have so many facts at her fingertips that she can just bat anything back, and that really frustrated me, that she didn't clearly think she could do that. I found it annoying. Cruddas, he can make you look stupid in a second, because he's got
Yeah.
facts and figures in his brain that he will reel out, and he knows that I won't have the answers to the things he's saying, and I'm left just saying, okay, Martin, let's go on to so-and-so. That's my frustration. Right, I've got it out my system.
Criticism of Harrington, wasn't it? She had no mastery of the subject. That's the problem. She had no credibility because she didn't understand the subject matter, and that's what she probably was avoiding being interviewed, because she didn't know a brief at all.
Absolutely, Chris. It's never
No.
personal, Chris. It's not like I don't dislike Julie Harrington. I haven't been able to get to know her.
But as a CEO of a very, very large regulatory body, you think she'd have mastery of the subject, but she didn't. She had a honeymoon period the first few months while she's still learning it, but she left the sport with appreciably little more knowledge than when she entered the sport, and that's the criticism. Took the money and fucked off. So, yeah, that's why she's detested, I think.
Well, that's why she goes in anyway.
Yeah, like with extra flames. John, I'm waiting for your opinion on this, because this is an absolutely ridiculous.
It's the horns of a dilemma, isn't it? But I would just gently whisper in Dido's ear that I could get her out of this mess just for 25% of the test and trace budget.
What, 37 billion, was it?
Something in that region, yeah.
I'm not sure, John, that it's a good idea for you to be tested for things.
Definitely not. John, come on, I need an answer. Would it be Dido or Julie? I know you want to do both.
Well, Julie could go in with impunity, couldn't she? Because, as I've always said, you could have shaved a monkey and kicked it through a branch of Laura Ashley and sat it in the hot seat, and we'd have had the same outcome.
Good stuff. This is getting desperate now. Benny Hill or Michael Jackson?
Absolutely 100% Benny Hill.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson clearly had issues, but at the end of the day, you might not care, you might say, but not many people could dance. Or, I mean, his singing I didn't think was particularly great, but his dancing was something that most of us would have dreamed of being able to do when we were in nightclubs as teenagers. So I've got to keep Michael Jackson out for his dancing. Yes, obviously there was a load of other stuff which he could go in for, but Benny Hill, I mean, I do genuinely remember my dad watching a bit of Benny Hill, that music, and he sort of ran around a lake, didn't he, chasing girls or
myth.
something.
The song was Yakety Sax by Boots Randolph, and they were always chasing him.
Okay.
Or he was never chasing the women. It's completely wrong. Michael Jackson in the fucking fire. Get rid of him.
In that case, even more he should go in, because the idea that any girls would be chasing Benny Hill is quite ridiculous. So he has to go in straight away.
Terrible answer, that.
So Chris is Jackson, Matt is Benny Hill. John?
I always thought Mike Jackson might dance even better with a few flames licking round his feet.
He got a great moonwalk, hasn't he?
Well, yeah.
I've no opinion on that one, I'll be honest.
Hold on, yes you have, or did you get both?
Oh yeah, I do. Okay then. This is a really hard one for me, because I used to love watching Benny Hill, because it was fucking hilarious. It's got to be Michael Jackson, and the reason is because I believe all the allegations were true, even though he got acquitted. It's just my own personal beliefs. Why would you pay people off? You don't give money to people when you've done nothing. I never would.
Prince Andrew didn't. He hadn't done anything either.
Well, there you go. We'll finish it on that one. So one more before we go to the racing review, because time's cracking on. So Christmas thing now. Turkey comes in the building and goose, Matt.
Neither. Turkey tastes like shit. Everyone knows that, but they do it because they're tradition.
Yeah.
You always have a chicken at Christmas. Chickens taste much better. They're a better bird. They'll be half the price and you'll get a better feed. So I've got to be honest, I don't think I've ever had a goose or a geese or whatever you call it. I've no intention of having one. Every Christmas for me would be a chicken. And I don't care what the rest of you say, because you're all wrong unless you say chicken.
I can't argue with it. Like you say, we are idiots because we just do turkeys, don't we? But this year I'm having beef. But
Hold on, man. Where does beef come from?
yeah, beef. I'm bored of turkey.
I used to have pork chops.
You're not a beef man, Matt.
I mean, beef's okay. I'm not great on pork or beef. I'm a very simple person, to be honest, when it comes to food. I'm not foodie in any way whatsoever. That's why I'm listening to your food podcast to try and learn so much about cooking. I love chicken. I love bread sauce. You have to have bread sauce with chicken. I love a good chicken with bread sauce, gravy, roast potatoes. I'll have many more sausages wrapped in bacon than I need, the old pigs in blankets. I will have parsnips that have been cooked and then smeared with honey.
Nice.
And then I'll have a few carrots and probably some cauliflower cheese just for a token. I'm not a great vegetables person, but I always feel you have to, other people go, oh, have you had any vegetables? So you have to chuck something on just to shut the other people up. But really, that will be it for me. And then I'm going to have my trifle afterwards, and that is me done. And then I just sit there like a fat git for the rest of the afternoon.
Yeah. So Chapman's flaming turkey. I get that. Even though he's never had goose, he probably tried goose over turkey, I think. John?
I would definitely prefer goose to turkey, but my overriding ambition is to get my hands on a swan and annoy the hell out of sausage fingers.
Imagine the faux outrage if you went down a Windsor or something like that. There's loads of swans down there, right? Just pick one up in your arms, walk down the street with it. We could do a bar steward's gift.
Imagine Boxing Day race and you just nonchalantly walk past Harry Herbert at Kempton or something, munching on a swan leg from the day before. That was about that then.
Chris?
I've got nothing to add to that.
You must be setting fire to something.
Yeah, probably turkey. Yeah, turkey.
Okay. I know you're not a massive fan. We move on from this nonsense to more serious matters now. We're going to talk some racing review. Matt, the first thing I want to ask you, you were at Ascot. The crowd looked absolutely superb. The view from the stands, it was a great crowd there. 6 race card, none of this 8, 9 race card nonsense. There's a grade 1 hurdle, the long walk, which certainly has a lot of significance in my life in that my daughter was born on long walk hurdle day and I was watching it after she was born. And
In the betting shop.
I'm going to tell you a story. It's funny. The waters are broken and I got the taxi driver to stop off at the newsagents to get a copy of the Racing Person of Sporting Life before I went to the hospital. I think it was the day when Dino's Beano made all and beat Barracuda, if memory serves me right. And Barracuda was ridden terribly off the pace. Dino's Beano just stole an easy lead and gave it a spanking, which everyone was shocked at. Great Barracuda back in the day. I was very impressed with the winner in Pesé-Trois, but I would say this. The one that caught my eye the most, Matt, was the third horse, Honesty Policy, because Ascot has been suiting pace, let's be fair. And I think this horse was disadvantaged by the track, really, where the track was riding. You had to be handy. Strong leader made a big fist of it. He looked the likely winner turning in, to be fair. But then I think Class showed in the end in Pesé-Trois to get on top of him. The third horse was absolutely flying through the line. First of all, tell me about the crowd and what you think to the crowds. Were you impressed today?
Yeah, it was absolutely rammed. There was a massive pile-up of what they describe on your sat-nav as a major accident on the M25, which meant that I was massively delayed getting to the track. And it also meant that I came in relatively like a normal person, which is not usual because usually I'm hours before the first race and experience what normal racegoers experience, which is queuing for hours to go sort of half a mile down the road. It really was a really good atmosphere. I think yesterday as well, where they do a lot of Christmassy stuff, carols, etc. I think it's a really good day for the kids. I think Ascot do these 2 days really well. As far as the long walk is concerned, Pesé-Trois, Honesty Policy are definitely 2 new staying kids on the block. There's no doubt about that. Strong leader for me, is a different horse this season. Everyone thought that he didn't like going right-handed, but he's had plenty of operations relatively recently, and it appears to me for the first time that this season he's proving to be a pretty useful benchmark. He will be 9 the time the Stayers Hurdle comes up, so he isn't getting any younger, but at 9 you should be just about in your prime. He doesn't usually go to Cheltenham, but I would imagine that Ollie Murphy would try this time, just because the fact he's gone round Ascot and cope with that slightly suggests that maybe he'll cope with Cheltenham again. I don't think he is this flat track bully anymore. I just think he's a assured, changed horse strong leader this term. Impostoir, I know Nikolai Chastel de Bonville's not everyone's cup of tea, but I thought he gave that an absolute peak. I really like him as a rider. He's not the most stylish rider you're ever going to see, but he doesn't fall off many times. But I completely understand that he's quite an easy target for a lot of people. But I thought he gave that a peach. I think that is a horse who just needs to be delivered at the right time. And you're right, Honesty Policy at the line was finishing off best of the 3. And you were kind of left thinking, okay, in a stronger run race, perhaps round Cheltenham, he would be interesting. The only thing I would say is there's not much between them all. 8 lengths back to Potter's Charm. I still feel that Teahupoo is the best staying hurdler around. And every season he's just forgotten, A, because he doesn't run much, and B, probably because he's over in Ireland. So I just don't think he's a horse that particularly catches the public imagination. But he's, for me, sets the standard in the Stayers Hurdles still. I'd say Teahupoo's the one to beat. But these are all horses coming through who can make their mark. And what was nice about the Long Walk finally was just that it was quite a big field. I know 11 runners isn't that many, but these big races, whether it's the Derby, the Arc de Triomphe, the Long Walk Hurdle, the Stayers Hurdle, the Champion Chase, even if you have a few no-hopers in there, for me, size of field really does add to the excitement. On Swinley Bottom, 4 out, 3 out, it was just nice having 8, 9 horses who were galloping round. We're so used to these miserable small fields these days that just to have a double size field for the race, I've really felt good. I liked it. They're all good horses, but I agree with what you say. Honesty Policy is interesting going forward. I don't think Strong Leader will ever be Impostoir now. I think Impostoir is a better horse than Strong Leader, and that's not rocket science, is it? Now he's beaten him twice in a row, but he's clearly progressive, whereas Strong Leader's going to stay roughly where he is.
Yeah. John, any view on the Long Walk?
Considering that was only the 7th run of his life, I think the third horse is by far the most likely prospect out the 3.
Yeah, Ascot over jumps is a myth. And a lot of people get a bit confused because Ascot on the flat is quite a stiff track because the turf track's on the outer course. The straight track is generally slightly uphill from start to finish, say over the straight mile. For me, a lot of people get confused with Ascot, thinking Ascot's a good test. It actually isn't for the jumps track. It generally favours a front runner. I was looking for bets today on the front end myself.
I think that tells you that Potter's Charm have got that one wrong, haven't they? Because they thought the trip was going to improve him, and I mean, he was walking at the finish. He's never getting 3 miles, is he?
It was right to do so. It was right to.
Yeah, he had to give him a spin, but that's it now for him, isn't it?
So that was, of course, the Long Walk. Matt, anything else today at Ascot that either caught your eye?
I think it's worth pointing out the return of John Joe O'Neill. John Joe's a tricky stable to work out at the best of times, but clearly it's been a shadow of its best in recent weeks and months, really, of this jump season. The biggest eye catcher, but the problem is he's always an eye catcher, is Johnny who powered to the line in the handicap chase. But the problem with Johnny Hu is he's one of those that every time you think there's a big one in him, there's a big one in him. He was 5th at Ferryhouse, 2nd at Cheltenham in the 3 mile 2, the Fort Wall and Kim Muir. There is a big one in him, but the problem is you're going skimp waiting for it to come. Deep Cave, I thought that was nice for Christian Williams. And Alexi, I wouldn't give up on Alexi. Whether he's going to win a champion hurdle, I doubt. But I think he's going to be interesting on the flat if he goes back on the flat. And I thought the handicap hurdle that Wilful won was run in a way that didn't suit Alexi. He pulled a lot. He didn't jump quite as well as he can. Stronger pace, better horses. I think you'll see better from Alexi. He had previous form with Wilful, but yeah, I think that was about it. There wasn't much else on the card that I was thinking much for the future. Iroko did what Iroko can do against Firefox. He's a pretty good horse, but I thought Johnny Hu was just, again, a real eye catcher.
Johnny Hu, he must be frustrating for backers because a lot of people mentioned him today. He was mentioned in a column on our website in terms of potential, and if he's fancied, then he's a winner waiting to happen. But the same again after the Lord Mayor's show. He's always in front after the line. I don't get that. He's finished really fast. And then he's in front after the line. This is becoming a habit. You can see that 145 is not a hindrance to him at all. It's just a case of, I don't know, maybe cards dropping. But like you say about the John Joe O'Neill stable and young Alex now also on the licence, this is a yard that has come for criticism in recent times. Some people aren't fans. But like you say, we're willful today. John Joe riding well and all good to see. I would say from my perspective of Ascot, if you're a form reader, the ones that have done well from the front end, I would mark them down. The ones that have come from the back and showed promise, I would mark up significantly. Ascot is not held up as course. It's the same with Kempton, and we'll come on to the King George in a bit. But John, anything else from Ascot from you?
Absolutely not.
Just a complaint from me today, and I don't want to be Bernie because it's not really a Bernie show today, but the Tommy Whittle handicap chase, I'm a big fan of it. I just think the quality's going down, and it's there in black and white. All you've got to do is go on the Racing Post website, click on the past winners. You've got a lot of high standard of horses winning it in the past. I just think it's dropping off, and I think that's really sad. The Tommy Whittle is considered possibly one of the Grand National trials. Maybe people don't want to win because they don't want to go up in the weights if they're targeting the Grand National. But to be honest, how many UK trained horses win the Grand National these days compared to our Irish counterparts? I was a bit disappointed, but I was pleased for Sue Smith and Joel winning with Grand Jest. Sue Smith, they've not had the best of times, and I was really pleased to see that win. Galloped nicely through the line, but rated 119. Winning a Tommy Whittle.
The point is that all those races, you even look at the Hennessy, as we know it now, the Coral Gold Cup, you look at the Rehearsal Chase, the Tommy Whittle.
Yeah.
Races have kept the names, but they're nothing like the races they were. You can't actually even think of them like you're thinking of them. You're saying it's great that they've gone, but they're not even the same thing. It's the same when you think, I'm sure we'll mention the King George at Kempton. Like for me, if they move that race to another racetrack, it's not the King George anymore. Just like I don't consider the Champion Stakes that's now at Ascot is the same as the Champion Stakes at Newmarket. The problem with all of this stuff is it depends when you were born, when you got into the game, and how you looked at it at that point. Yeah. A kid getting into the game now, let's say you got an 18-year-old now, they're not going to care two hoots if the King George gets moved somewhere else. But if you've been in the game 20, 30 years or whatever, it's like, for me, that race is dead. And the same with the Champion Stakes. So I think it all depends on your age, when you started following the sport, and how much those particular titles mean for you. A lot of them would mean, I suspect, a lot less to people than they meant to people 30 years ago. In other words, I just don't think race titles and things like that have the same meaning these days. Back in the day, I think because the way people looked at the sport, they thought about the sport, the fact it was on telly and there weren't many other things on TV, certain names became really special to a certain age group of people. But now you just got to let it go. Look, you're trying to compare the Tommy Whittle to 30 years ago. It's not the same race, so there's not much point in comparing it. It's just got the name. That's all it's got.
Yeah. We're nostalgic on this shirt. That's how it is.
And I'm not being critical of that, but it's not the Tommy Whittle that you're thinking. It's just got that name.
No, it's not. That's the sadness that we feel sometimes.
Well, pack spreadable, isn't it? Yeah.
The Rehearsal Chase at Chepstow, you could have Gold Cup winners coming out of it. You could have Grand National winners.
Yeah.
Now it's a little handicap at Newcastle. Like, again, the Rehearsal Chase has the name Rehearsal. A certain age group will be thinking, hey, it's the Rehearsal Chase this weekend. Yeah. But it's not that race. It's just got Rehearsal in the title.
Did Carville-Zill win the Rehearsal?
It did.
Yeah, I thought it did,
Yeah.
We're sad old guys. Anyway. We'll talk about something relevant to punters, really, and try and give an insight to what's coming up. And we're going to be doing a tipping podcast, myself, John Lang, Andy Richmond, Catherine Fry, appearing on Christmas Eve for the detriment of you all to cover Boxing Day and Christmas period selections. But I thought bringing Matt on, and I know Matt, he's been interviewing a few people today about the King George, Ben Paulin, Jukebox Jury, etc., and also the big JP with Fact or File. We need to talk King George. Matt, what is your idea of the King George winner?
Django Bay, for me, slightly, there's a bit of heart in there. A great story with the horse and the owner, who on my own podcast, I've done a big interview with. That will come out on the Unbridled podcast, probably Sunday or maybe Monday afternoon, I think. But for those who don't know, this horse was born on a very important day for the owner. His son, who was called James Barney, was killed in a car, crashed into a tree. I think it was 2008. This horse, obviously, just by pure coincidence, has the initials JB. I really went massive last season on this horse winning the Arkle, which eventually, of course, he did. But I don't really deserve any credit because obviously, quite clearly, the Arkle was completely the wrong race for this horse. He just happened to win it, which was pure fluke on the day. That run, though, I think you may remember My Way to Solzen, who was a pretty good 3-miler. He won the Arkle. Kicking King won the Arkle. Arkle winners can stay further. This horse shouldn't have won the Arkle. He's always been a 2.5, 3-miler. And I thought his comeback win was spectacular, even if perhaps in a small field the others didn't run to form, but it was still spectacular. And I just think he's got the travelling pace and the stamina mixed in. I think Nico will ride him like Impostoir and try and deliver him late. So he's my idea of one. The other thing is to add with him, he's second run after the wind up. And although he did win first run after the wind up, those in the game often say that the horses are better after one run, having had the wind up. So I think it's a brilliant race. I think it's great that Mullins comes across. That slightly suggests, in my eyes as well, that maybe he's just thinking Skelton's getting far enough ahead in the Trainers' Championship because he has options for all these horses. But the fact he's happy to send 2 for the big prize might just mean that he's just thinking, yeah, I can close in a little bit with this race. I think it is a really good renewal. So I'm not working Boxing Day, and I will be glued to this. Factor File and Gaelic Warrior have that smash up after the John Durkin. Although I do think the John Durkin's the most ridiculous race that's salivated over. That's just a glorified gallop for most of them.
Yep.
Jukebox Man, your favourite owner, of course, with Harry Redknapp. He does add something to this horse, and he's an exciting horse. Jello was brilliant at Huntingdon. Banbridge is the defending champion if he goes, and Ile Francais will be the horse that probably none of us will back. But if he went and hacked up, we'd all say, fuck me, that fucking horse, because he's got the talent in him to blow this field apart. So all in all, I can't think that anyone can say this isn't a great race to watch and punting.
Great words. I completely concur with you on Django Bay. I watched him at Ascot. Me and John, I think, had a little chat about it. And geez, blew me away what he did to Gidley Park, because Gidley Park jumped for fun. Didn't put a foot wrong, Gidley Park, all race. And I know Peak Door, he needed the run and wasn't at the races, but forget that. But Gidley Park absolutely didn't touch a twig. And Django Bay, he just went past it. And we're talking an 155 rated chaser that's done everything right, that ran second to Imperi Pass, and this just destroyed it. And I think the step up to 3 miles is no problem. Like you say, Matt, you need a traveller at Kempton. He doesn't have to lead, but he can be just sat travelling just in behind them, biding your time. And I think it's the perfect race. I love Factor File as a horse. I just think Django Bay could be something extra special. That's how I see the race. Yes, I backed Ile Francais last year at Kempton. I was sick. And like you say, do we leave that unbacked at 20-1? I don't think we should. Everyone that has a bet in the race might just want a stake save on that because he bleeds. On his days, he's extra special, as we saw in the old Feltham race, the Cowtoe Star. He is absolutely extra special. It's just, he does bleed. He could pull up, he could run terrible, but he also could bound away, be 10 clear at halfway, have everything in trouble, and then you're thinking, why haven't I backed this at 20? John?
I'm taking 10 points out of that one, Ray, and getting out after a circuit nerve.
But that's it, it's the risk factor. Ile Francais, I personally wouldn't have run where they ran. I think he's best ultra fresh. If you run him after a long absence, I think that's when to catch him. So that's the one negative for me. I have no idea why they came to Ascot against Django Bay. Let's go on SP, shall we? Django Bay was 9-4 favourite. Ile Francais was 11-4. Now it's 7-2 and 20s. One horse has just not run its race, and one horse has. I think that's the King George pretty well summed up. So that's where we're at. Would you agree with that, John? Django Bay?
Well, he's a prospect, isn't he? Like Matt said about the Arkle performance, he was in the wrong race and still managed to pull it out of fire. So this does look the ideal target for him as in his second season.
The other thing, John, is he's always been a good horse. On his second run under rules, he won a Grade 1 novice hurdler entry. Now, it wasn't the greatest Grade 1 of all time, but it was a Grade 1. Then as novice chaser, he won the Arkle. Of course, it was a crazy Arkle, but he won the Arkle. This is a horse who has only had 10 races under rules.
Yeah.
And he's won 2 Grade 1s out of those 10. He's got a screw in his leg. He went lame after his third entry. He got a screw put in his leg. And that's what I thought was even more amazing at Ascot, because I thought, geez, you've had a screw in your leg and you've just destroyed Gidley Park, who's a bit of a tank, I think. He's an underestimated horse.
Oh, yeah.
He's got issues as well, but on a going day, he's a big beast and a good horse. I just think he's really exciting. But it is one of those races that if any of the top 5 or 6 win, no one's going to be that surprised. It's that good a race. And I love races like that. You can sound very adamant as if you know everything, and you can finish 5th and say, well, I still ran okay. It's that kind of race.
It is a race to savour. Like you, Matt, I'm very looking forward to it. Right, we're coming on to Kempton now. Serious industry topic. We've obviously seen a lot in the headlines in recent weeks. Just to fire some questions to get you flamed up, Matt. Simon Benson's been on. The useful idiots have stood around taking bookmaker loot whilst industry gets destroyed by bookies' greed. Now, take against the Jockey Club. We're trying to balance the books and reinvest in the game. Is there any hope? Obviously, that's in reference to Alan King's comments with Dickie Henderson and Nichols giving a stinging attack on the Jockey Club. Ice Cold Cube says, season's greetings to the 3 wise men and the producer. If Redrow build homes on Kempton Park and keep the courses rumoured, how would you market the houses? Watch 3 run novice chasers from your balcony while sipping a Rioja. Keep up the good work. You're a much-needed weekly tonic. Macadori, you guys called Kempton long ago, like so many other things which become big issues years later. Why is the rest of the industry and the media failing? Did they ever want to keep Kempton? So the story with Kempton, before I bring Matt in, is we were told a long time ago in a galaxy far away, March the 12th is the date, that Kempton was officially sold. That's obviously been kept on the back burner since a long time, 2017, 2018, but obviously no planning permission have been granted. You know, it's a matter of time. It's a ticking time bomb. So my first question to you, Matt, is this right that the Jockey Club have sat on this for 7 or 8 years and not told anyone?
I'm not sure people didn't know, but it just seems that it didn't come up. Clearly, a whole lot of people must have known that this happened. A small group kept it quiet. Look, first things first, I know we bandy words around like the idiots are doing this, but they're not idiots from the point of view these people are stupid or thick. They're idiots from the point of view of what are you doing playing with this sport and why aren't you being the custodians of it that you're meant to be? When we use the word idiots, I think we have to be careful that these are not thick people. This is a calculation rather than someone making a silly mistake is really the emphasis I want to put out first. The problem with the Jockey Club is this. It has had enormous debt for a very long time, and the way British racing has gone, there's clearly been no way ultimately of getting rid of the debt. And that's just sat there for years and years and years. I can only imagine, and obviously I'm guessing to a certain extent, that when this deal was done, the people felt that they were never going to be able to get rid of the debt unless they got rid of a racecourse. And as we know, outside of the King George, Kempton is not a racecourse that is well frequented. And they probably felt we can quite happily get rid of Kempton. Now, the 2 angles, of course, against that, it produces tremendous ground at a certain time of year, and the King George is a much loved race. There are parts of it which I don't understand. The first is that they say Kempton is not profit-making, but the amount of fixtures they have, they've either got a really bad media rights deal, which is possible because Newbury make a lot more money from their media rights deal than they did before they, and I know people say, oh, you're part of Sky Sports Racing, but the simple truth is that they have made a lot more money since they changed their media rights deal. Now, I don't know everyone's media rights deals, but for the amount of all-weather racing they have at Kempton, I can't quite understand why it isn't a profitable track, because they're getting a lot of money. Obviously, they get very small crowds, but I don't go there for the all-weather fixtures, but I presume they cut back on staff, etc., and it's a very skeleton-run thing. As far as Kempton is concerned, I think the big question here is not obviously the sport can go on without Kempton. Everyone will survive, but it's more, why did the Jockey Club not do some sort of consultation with the players in the sport when they made this decision? And I completely understand that it's not Jim Mullen's fault right now. He's been left with this, but someone has a lot to answer for. And as always with horse racing, why wasn't it ever discussed? There are certain things that always annoy me. The Jockey Club saying, well, all our profits go back into the sport. Well, the Tote have always said that, but it's just not true, is it? All their profits don't go back into the sport. They're all paid huge salaries for a start. Jim Mullin's been paid a huge salary. So once you take out all of that, then they'll say, yeah, but some of our profits don't go back into sport because we put it into sponsorship and that counts as profits back into racing. There are so many things that, for me, don't add up. There are things I have a lot of questions to ask. I would say it's almost certain that Kempton will close at some stage. I think it's a matter of time. It's sad. But the biggest sadness I have is that I would imagine the Jockey Club will end up in debt again in a certain period of time. And then another racecourse will go. And it's a bit like uses of the whip, isn't it? How many do you cut down till you don't have any more to cut? And I just see it as a slippery slope, effectively, which you kind of feel a multi-million, maybe even billion-pound industry might have been able to find a better way round somewhere along the line. I don't have all the answers, but I do have a lot of questions.
John?
As Matt said, I think the hands were tied, to be honest. If they were going to get rid of the debt, they needed to sell one. And in all fairness, I couldn't think of a better one for them to sell, really, for maximising the return.
Have they still got the paintings? Or have they sold them?
You can't sell the paintings.
Why not?
They might want to do a raffle something.
The paintings are worth fortunes.
The paintings, you've got to have the paintings.
John, as you know, and we'll go back to race titles here, I used to love the Queen's Prize at Kempton. It was a really good...
Yeah, Rosebery.
Yeah.
The Rosebery, the classic trials. They were never the greatest classic trials, but there was something about them. Once they got rid of the flat turf course, it was the beginning of the slippery slope for me.
Yeah.
And we understand the finances, and maybe the all-weather has kept it going until now. But it is kind of a one-race track now. And even the Racing Post Chase, as was when Bonanza Boy used to come from
That's
town.
gone to shit, hasn't it, really?
Yeah. Remember Gloria Victis winning that and sadly losing his life in the Gold Cup. But it's just been a long, slippery slope, hasn't it, at Kempton, with things gradually disappearing. That's how I see it.
Why are trainers coming out then, going bananas, like Herbie 53?
They love to go bananas, though, don't they? They went bananas when Newcastle went all weather, and now it's better supported by the trainers that went bananas than they ever supported it when it was crap.
Not that I want Kempton closed. I like Kempton. I like betting at Kempton on the all-weather and overjumps. I think it's a really great track to bet horses on. It's flat. It's pretty fair. I like a flat track. I don't like these undulating rubbish. It's a great course.
But Lee, going back to John's point, if you've got a lot of debt and the only way to get rid of it is to sell a track, and people might say, well, sell, I don't know, a small track. But of course, then you're not raising the money you need. So effectively, if you have to sell a track, which of their big tracks would you sell instead of Kempton? That's the question.
It's true. Kempton is number one to go, and then it'll be Leicester, I think. That's the next one. Simply because, again, it's great real estate. It's close to the M1, a major motorway route.
You're only going to be building vape shops on that site, though.
Barbers and vape shops, that's it. Yeah.
When government come with an idea and say, right, well, we need a community, we need doctors, surgery, schools, all ends up on High Street after about 2 years of vape shops and turkey bars.
Just one other thing. There have been some ridiculous things said about the selling of this place. The idea that the Jockey Club could buy Arc and things like that, it almost sounds like the powers that be that have come in of wanting to make them sound like they're big hitters or something. There's absolutely no way the Jockey Club can buy Arc. If Kempton came up for sale, there would be more chance that Arc would buy Kempton than any other factor. And as we know, Kempton isn't going to come up for sale at least until possibly 2028, which is when Redrow, the deal that this housing company or whatever it is has in place, finishes. So they've got to do their darkest deeds by 2028. But if it was up for sale, then Arc would actually be in the mix, you'd have imagined, for buying Kempton, because they would love to have another all-weather track. Some of the things that have been bandied about are insane, and you slightly wonder, because remember, Jockey Club at the moment is new. It's almost like they're wanting everyone to feel that they're big players, big hitters. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to take over the world. And you're kind of thinking, well, you're not actually, mate. There's none of that you can actually do. It's a bit weird.
Only thing we found as a podcast astonishing is that when we broke the news, there were dissenters, people saying, you don't know what you're on about, and this and the other. And they can't even put two and two together. The reason Dido Harding is at the Jockey Club, she might be a lovely person, I don't know her, but all I'm saying is a government contact. She's Serco. Weigh it all up. What does Serco do? All you got to do is use Google as your friend, and that's it. So she's there to facilitate the sale, make sure that everything goes to plan, that planning permission goes ahead. Local government and local council will have no say on this. So any delusions of grandeur from local councils refusing planning permission, that won't work. It's a matter of time, as Matt said. I don't know when the date will be, but it's happening.
Can I just say one other thing, Lee? For me, if Kempton goes, the King George goes. And I think then you come up with a new thing. I mean, like, for instance, Ascot and Windsor are doing that Winter Millions. You could create, amongst all that, a very big 3-mile chase, maybe at Ascot, wherever it is you want to do it. I don't know, because Newbury's independent, you probably couldn't bring Newbury on board. Sandown is the obvious place because the King George's been there before, but it's a very different test, and I'm not really sure whether Sandown needs the King George there. But what I hate is exactly what we were talking about earlier, that you'll have this situation where someone will create the King George at another track. It just isn't the King George. It's not. Just give it a new title, give it a load of prize money. People will still want to win it.
I agree.
It's not the King George.
No, don't call it the King George. I think they'll choose Ascot, personally. I think that's what's probably going to happen.
Why not? Yeah.
Call it the Prince Andrew.
Sponsored by Savile Estate Agents. How about that?
Lovely job, like.
A race where you struggle to find the winner and it'll pull your pants down.
Exactly right,
There you go, bang.
Matt, I think you want to talk about Lord Allen. Are we in a hiatus of repeated incumbents coming into the BHA that are just repeatedly doing nothing? Is that your opinion?
I was really disappointed with his speech the other day at the Jim Crack dinner. I understand things are difficult, but there did feel when Lord Allen came on board, and I've been lucky enough to throw a couple of questions at him, that almost felt like there was this godlike figure who was going to suddenly change everything. He had people in his ear in the Labour Party. He was only coming on board if he could do this and that. And it's just so far been absolutely the same old nonsense. Just words. It's difficult. We've got to do that. Yeah, we know all that. We know what we've got to do. You're meant to be doing it, mate. And the fact we still haven't got a CEO. We still haven't got a board. The board apparently are going to be a particular type of board that don't have connections, but they've all got connections. Because what happens when you have a board at the BHA, yeah? The first thing they're going to do is get invited to the Cheltenham Festival. They're going to get invited to Royal Ascot. They're going to get invited to Glorious Goodwood. So if you're on the BHA board, you're immediately part of something. It's never independent. The idea that you have this independent board is just absolute codswallop. Everyone will have someone that they'll be wanting to keep happy because they'll be getting something out of it for themselves. You cannot have independent boards, and I don't know why they even bother trying to do it. It's physically impossible. No one is independent because you have to know something about horse racing to be on the board, and if you know something about the sport, you can't be independent. So for me, the whole thing is still an utter mess, and I can't see anything happening. We know that speed was of the essence after the budget. We had to get in quick if we wanted to try and do further things. You've had Tom Savile's ideas. They had to be done quickly. Nothing's happening, is it? Nothing. No one's doing anything. I'm massively depressed.
Only thing I'd counter that is that I can actually tell you that talks will be taking place in the new year with the BHA regarding levy reform. That I think that's the first thing we need to tackle. Racing is so complex. You've got the fixture list that's impossible to sort right now. You've got factions pulling in different directions, from the bookmakers to ARC to Jockey Club racecourses. Everyone wants...
Whatever direction the factions are pulling, though, like the funding model has to...
You've said in the podcast, everyone needs to come together. Whilst that's very difficult, I believe it can happen. That's my positivity on this. I know, Matt, you might be down about this, but I seriously think that if that can happen, we've a chance. If that doesn't happen, then maybe not so much.
I just see more reviews, more focus groups, more BHA boards, more chief executive going for interviews. It's just more of the same old, and you might be right. I'm sure these talks will happen. They'll go on for months. Then the RCA will say no, and then we'll be back at square one. I'm not being defeatist. Obviously, you've got to do something. I appreciate that. You've got to have talks. But am I sat here thinking, in 6 months' time, we're going to be in a massive different position. The levy will be sorted. I honestly think we'll be having the same conversation which we've had for the last 20, 30 years. Nothing ever changes. And you might be right. Maybe this time it will change, because on the basis it will change eventually, I guess it has to one day. But am I filled with any confidence now that Lord Allen is my saviour? I've got to say no. No, I hope he is. And I have enjoyed the fact that he does answer some questions, but it's become what I would call wishy-washy answers, and I don't think this sport needs wishy-washy.
No. I was left with the overriding impression that that speech was just an absolute tragedy, because he gave us the 5 C's, and if only he'd managed the 6th C, I think the racing game would have been all right.
Yeah. We don't have to.
5 C's was never going to do it, was it?
Yeah. And finally, we need Chris.
We do.
Who is in the audience tonight.
Yeah.
Would you like to come up, Chris, and tell us your plan for the sport?
I'll refer to my notes, which I've dropped and left in the taxi. So, yeah, it's been rematched entirely. Past performance is often a good guide to success, and you can see reviews, focus groups, and all these subcommittees, etc. But ultimately, I don't think anything's going to change. But hopefully we're wrong, but I'm not optimistic.
Well, cheers, guys. I'm actually hopefully going to be working on this in the new year.
Well, now we're certain fuck all will change.
Another useless fucking idiot. I'm castigated again. I've been owned on this show. More questions. Racing industry questions. Gary Cheesefinger's been on. Matt, you must miss these days. When you did the phone-ins on the old At The Races channel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How hilarious were that? Honestly, it was addictive viewing. Why has that stopped?
It stopped really when we went to Sky Sports Racing. There were some technical issues, but I think that was just to sort of mop over the real reasons. One of the problems is time on Sky Sports Racing. It is now race from anywhere in the world. That is the model. And for all that, none of us, I think, really want that model. No one would want that, not even the people in charge at Sky Sports Racing. But the problem is, it's a case of being on air or having no Sky Sports Racing. And at the end of the day, we all know, just like anything in racing, how things are funded. And people betting on races, wherever they are from the world, is how the sport gets some money in. It's how Sky Sports Racing's funding model works. Time is just about, there actually isn't a time that show could go on the programme. It's another reason why my podcast, Unbridled, is on YouTube, although, to be quite frank, that's a blessing. Because even though it's put together by At The Races, pretty much say what we like. And one of the big problems, I've said this time again, I probably said it the last time I was on your podcast, is that there's that massive divide between the real world and the TV world. And it becomes bigger all the time, that the people on TV, whatever show they're on, can't talk like the viewers are talking. But the viewers can go on social media and talk like normal people. And so you get this bigger and bigger divide that technically the world should be becoming a more open place, opening up. You can say more and more, talk like normal people, where actually in the world of TV, you say less and less now. We can say much less now than we could have done 5 years ago. And that's the big problem with it all. So actually, from the point of view of a podcast, going on YouTube is a great help, because you can get back to being relatively normal. And old blogger boy who's been mentioned on this show many times, so one reason that he does well in the places he does well, it's because it's a little bit more like talking to your bloke in the pub down the street. And that's what the phone-in show was like in reality. Yes. That's why people liked it. All those shows I love, when we used to do Get In back in the day from Corsham Street in London, I was sat in a booth. I sometimes would do Stateside. I'd sleep in my sleeping bag in the booth, go and do Get In the morning. That's how life was in those days. People loved that in the morning, but we don't do that anymore. Racing Debate went, Ask the Handicapper, which was a bit more technical, but still, I think for a small audience, quite fun. And the phone-in and all these things gradually went. But mainly on Sky Sports Racing, the main problem is time. The reason you love Lydia and you will love Nick as broadcasters is because they operate in a place where they have time, and time is everything. You can't do world-class interviews or interviews that will change how people think of certain things in 30 seconds and a minute. Ultimately, Nick and Lydia on Racing TV, they are blessed from the point of view that they have the opportunity of doing 5-minute interviews, sometimes even 6, 7, 8, 9-minute interviews. And if you have that time then you have the chance to really get stuck into people. But if after 20, 30 seconds you're told, right, that's enough of that, what do you actually ask someone in 30 seconds? You will laugh at people like me who say, how do you feel? Rishi's favourite catchphrase. But at the end of the day, if you've got less than a minute and someone's just won a big race, you can't really start with, well, you were £7 better off for a 2.5 leg cleating last time, so you must have calculated that you had a good chance if you made your challenge late. Well, the interview's over. That's the end of that.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Totally get it. Can only say what you can say in the time you've got, and that is a fair point. Nick, look, he gets more time to do what he does, so that's why he's won broadcaster.
I mean, Nick's podcast is fantastic.
Yeah.
It is a brilliant podcast. No one can deny it. It's genius stuff. If you are hardcore racing, it's genius stuff. And he absolutely rips the Racing Post apart for news. News is the easiest thing on earth to create in horse racing if you pick up the phone. But Nick rips them apart. It's just different league just because he makes an effort. It's unbelievable.
Totally agree with all your comments. So the boring question from Gary Cheesefinger is that racing trackers, Matt, what do you use for your racing tracker to put your horses? The Races tracker for you?
The At the Races website is brilliant. I've got to be honest. I was brought up on Racing Post form. If they just transferred the form of the Racing Post to the At the Races website, I genuinely, and I know you have this thing about on the podcast that if you work for people, then you're not real. I did enjoy the Racing League, and I do enjoy the At the Races website, and I was part of working for it, but I enjoyed it. So I do think you can say things are good even if you work for them. I also think it's a pretty sad world if you couldn't do any job that you actually thought was good just because you work for it.
Racing League. Racing doesn't work in team sports.
No, 100%. The Racing League was totally flawed, yeah? It didn't do what it said on the tin. But what it did do was produce as competitive racing as there was. Now, people can say it was rubbish, but that's because they're lazy punters. I remember when one meeting the ground changed, I put 6 hours into my team on a Sunday trying to sort out my horses. Now, if you're a punter and you're looking at a race for 5 minutes, you're going to find the Racing League impossible. If you're going to put in 6 hours, you could have worked it out. But you needed to put that kind of time into it because it was so competitive. When Racing League finished, so many of the horses won big handicaps towards the end of last flat season. And the betting turnover on Racing League was really, really good. If you ask the bookmakers, it was really good. So, yes, there was always this small minority that said it's just all shit. I get that, but there were bits of Racing League that were good. But for me, punters are lazy. They have got used to getting everything back. They want all the offers. If they have a non-runner anti-post, they still want their money back. Punters have become lazy, and because of that, they don't put the work in anymore. And that's why, essentially, we're in the mess we are with bookmakers, is because everyone's become so accustomed to getting something for nothing. And you don't have to work as a punter.
I disagree. No, completely rubbish. I'm a full-timer and I've been affordability checked 4 times. They're absolute cunts.
Oh,
Just say it as it is. The bookmaking industry have destroyed this sport, and that is fact. They did the same with grounds. It's the same model. Let's rinse it, get rid of any sharps, and that's what they've done. No one can get a bet online. That's why you might see a rise in on-course attendances.
Lee, I agree. No one's not criticising bookmakers here. We all know the problem's there, and you're absolutely 100%. No one's disagreeing with you on there. But what I'm saying is that when bookmakers say something like, we aren't going to accept a minimum stake from every punter, because if we did that, we'd have to stop the offers. Punters should then be saying, stop all the flipping offers. I don't want any offers.
Yeah,
I just want
yeah.
to get a bet on,
Agreed.
and I want to get a return. It will come out shortly. In a week or two's time, all the big bookmakers will be going non-runner, no bet at Cheltenham. No, I don't want that. Just let me get a bet on. I don't mind if I have a bet now for Cheltenham and my horse doesn't run and I lose. That's called anti-post betting, and I accept that. So scrap that, but just let me get a bet on. That's all I want.
Yeah, exactly that. We don't want any offers. We don't want any bonuses, concessions. We don't want any free spins, free bets. We just want to get a bet on. That's it. Nothing more.
But they do, Lee. That's the problem. The punters do. I get it every day. I'll sit in the studio. Something doesn't start. Oh, I should get my money back for that. That's a disgrace. No, no, no. You had a wager. Your horse didn't start. You lose, son. Now, obviously, if you have been mocked as being the TV friend of the punter or whatever some of us have been called from time to time, then you just get a whole load of abuse. But actually, you are being the friend of the punter by saying the opposite to what they want you to say. But they don't get it. They don't understand it. That the offers are the worst thing ever. No offers, no non-runner, no bet, no get your money back if your horse doesn't start. Just let me have a bet and let me bet like a mature adult and forget about all the offers, and then we'll move forward. But the bookmakers aren't going to do that because it's no good for them. Lee, you understand it. Most punters don't.
I'm not sure that's true, Matt. I think some punters will want lots and lots of offers and free spins, etc. But I think the rank and file punters that are playing regularly, that support the game day in, day out, I think they'd be quite happy to forego any offers in return for getting a bet.
But when have they ever said that, Chris?
When have they ever been asked? Who's asked punters?
Well,
there's an operating assumption that punters want these free offers, but no one's ever asked them. Because a few people maybe whine and moan, you're going to get that in any walk of life. I think if punters were asked, I think the vast majority would say, all right, fuck the offers, we just want to get a bet on. But again, until they're asked, we don't really know, do we? It's all quite subjective.
No.
This is why, Matt, as a podcast, this is why we're saying everyone needs to really sit down and discuss these things. We're Big Corp. We're not here to slag Big Corp. We're not here to slag any organisation. Everyone should sit down and have a proper discussion on the future of the sport.
Chris has made a good point, and you could almost have two markets. If the aim of bookmakers is just to have punters who spend £2, £3, £5, £10, let's say maximum of a tenner, then you give them markets where they do get all the offers and they get different odds. And then what you would call hardcore punters who've got no interest in offers on their accounts or anything, but they just want to bet, then you could have a different market for them. And maybe that's the way to go forward. Most bookmakers, of course, do have their own markets these days. Forget about SPs and all that kind of thing. Have markets for proper punters or just recreational punters that just don't want to spend much, but are quite happy to keep turning over a little bit and will be losers throughout the year. And maybe you do need a whole different look at the game, because clearly one market doesn't fit all punters. And at the moment, we have one market trying to fit all punters. Then, of course, in the past, Betfair came along. But now the liquidity on Betfair is so crap, there's no alternative. So I agree, somehow you've got to get everyone together, because I think there are ways forward, but it needs a drastic change of thinking, because one market doesn't fit every type of player now.
No, agreed. That's something I look forward to in 2026. A bit of fun to end the show, really.
Thank fuck for that.
Bert Doncaster's been on, and he said, has there ever been a good Christmas number one, or are they all just shit? John, I know you've got an answer to this.
Yeah, it's got worse, shall we say. I would suggest the last decent one was 2016 with Clean Bandit and Anne-Marie teaming up for Rockabye. Other than that, we've had talent show winners and all bloody sorts, joke things from films. 2003 Mad World, Gary Jules, I thought that was okay. But you go back to the 60s and it was absolutely mental. It was good songs all the way. We had Moon River, Return to Sender, Elvis.
Yeah.
Green Green Grass of Home, Tom Jones. Hello Goodbye, the Beatles from Sgt. Pepper's. And then the rot started in 1969 with Rolf fucking Harris and Two Little Boys.
Yeah, and he ended up in jail for that, didn't he?
Exactly.
Matt, any favourite Christmas number ones for you?
I think the classics are the best. There are some that really irritate me. I suspect you'll like this one. The people who say the Pogue, it's just one of those things, particularly Irish people. Oh, the Pogues are the best. No, they're not. The same people who like the Pogues Christmas song like the Smiths and think they're really cool as well. And the Smiths
No,
are
they're
crap.
not. Smiths are
They're
great.
really crap.
Morrissey's great. You're an idiot. You don't know what you're on about. Smiths are fucking excellent. You're wrong. Objectively wrong.
Absolutely, Chris. I would expect you to listen to the Smiths.
Heaven knows I'm miserable now, yeah.
100%. You're the type.
I like Mozza.
There are certain groups, aren't there, that are just a trendy to listen to, or at least a certain group of people think they are. The Pogues is awful. White Christmas for me it's just a classic.
Bing, yeah.
It actually feels Christmassy, and Justin Bieber did a Christmas song a few years ago. I actually quite like that. But there aren't many Christmas songs that make it, are there, when you think of all the old ones we listen to?
Producer is shaking her head now at Justin Bieber.
That's a horrible take.
I'm sorry,
Justin
I just thought I'd tell
Bieber.
you that.
Is that a euphemism for something else?
No, it's just terrible.
Do you know what actually kept the Pogues off number one at Christmas? It was Only You by the
Ooh.
Flying Pickets.
Yeah.
A cappella, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolute horrific song, yeah, horrific.
A cappella
Yeah.
group. Yeah, I remember that. The Smiths are excellent, but I do agree the Pogues are well overrated, but the Smiths are excellent. Morrissey's great, and that's all you need to know.
The best Christmas song is Christenberg's Spaceman Came Travelling. That's my opinion.
Okay.
And if you don't...
That is a good song, and I've noticed that one or two people have redone that song in recent times. I genuinely, when I was very, very young, I actually quite enjoyed Christopher because I like the fact every song tells a story.
Didn't he lose his missus because he's fucking a nanny, I think, Christopher?
If you're going to go, that's a good way to go, I guess.
Well, yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Left field duty here.
Well, no, it's, tell it like it is. That's what he was.
Yeah.
You like to have marital cheats then? Is that your thing, Matt? Is it? I don't listen to anybody like that, so... I think that's an admirable trait in a man. No, I don't think it is, but...
Oh, good God.
Fair play to you, because I did appreciate your answer, I don't know when it was, a few weeks ago, when you were asked about any woman in the world you liked, and
Yes.
you lied through your teeth and said your missus, so fair play to you.
I'm a horrible lie, yeah. People bought that hook, line and sinker. So, I've got a lot more respect for you. We're just actors. We've got equity cards and everything. We should be doing rep on the South Coast. That's what we should be doing. Terence Rattigan revival or something, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
good God. Right, producer's been on. And again, this is against me. And I said this at the start of the show. Is it acceptable to put the wrappers back in the box of chocolates? Or are those that do it absolute heathens? Again, you know when she said about setting people on fire last week? That was aimed at me. I've just said it's proved it. Matt, is this something you do? The celebrations or the heroes or the whatever? You get annoyed if you find wrappers in the chocolate tin?
Well, first of all, I do feel that Celebration Heroes have massively outdone Quality Street. Quality Street is the equivalent of the rehearsal chase, isn't it? It's had its day for me.
It is.
Rappers, I think they are irritating if you feel there's one more teaser left and you get to the bottom and you found it and it's just the rapper. So I do think it's irritating, but to be honest, I don't find that as irritating as easy peelers who are still impossible to peel. I don't know why anyone hasn't sued supermarkets. Satsumas seem to be a thing of the past. I used to love Satsumas, but it's almost always Clementines these days. And you get home and it says easy peeler. And honestly, you need some sort of degree to get into the thing. No one's created a utensil to do it. Lots of other things like eggs and things, people have created gadgets, but they're just not easy peelers, are they? They're fucking impossible peelers.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I've never had that problem. I always find them really easy to peel. It's not something that resonates with me, Matt. They're easy.
Muppet. You'll just say anything now.
No, I
For
won't.
the audience.
You never cut your nails.
Joe, I think they're easy to peel, aren't they? Sorry, a child could peel them.
Podcast has got me slightly confused because when I listen, every week I'm being called a wanker this, wanker Chapman, just cheap man's Lydia Hislop, all this stuff. And so far you've just been quite pleasant. Lee's admitted that he's pretty crap the whole way through, and it's been very odd. It's been quite weird.
It's been disconcerting, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm really disappointed I've been on, but I'm going to fucking own you all in a minute, because here we go.
Is this the bar stewards?
No, it is.
Well, we have enormous respect for you. We like you. We've never said you're a wanker, have we?
Shut the fuck up.
Fucking, you look like a tangerine anyway. And the one you can't peel, it reminds you of your skin.
Can't peel a fucking tangerine, Chris. What a fucking idiot.
No, thanks. You're all right. Yeah.
Tangerines at Chapman's house.
John's quite rightly fallen asleep.
Yeah, bold witness.
I'm still here.
He's trying to find the latest edition of the Ida.
Yes.
Chapman's can't peel tangerines. We've
Yes,
learned that
we
on
have.
this show. He gets one in his hands, and that's it. He's done. And that's an exclusive. That's a Barsters exclusive.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we take that to the bank.
He can't peel tangerines or satsumas. He's fucked this Christmas. Right, but we're going to finish the show.
Hooray!
Of course, this is where I'm
Go
going to
on.
fucking own you guys. This is it now. This is my revenge. 12 Days of Christmas. If you Google anything, you fuck.
Can't Google this.
12 Days of Christmas. So, the 12 Days of Christmas my true love gave to me.
Slightly different tune, but go on, yeah.
John won it last time, right? From you, Chris. You discussed it. So I'm going to give you first dig. What's number one?
Oh, come on. You've got to get this one.
But Partridge in a Pear Tree, isn't it, number one?
Yes, 1 point.
Now.
1
Yeah, go
point
on.
to Chris. Right, Matt, number two.
Well, I actually went to St Martin's in the Field this week, which I love. It's a tradition, but my dad would have done. He's dead for ages now, the bastard. But he would have loved St Martin's in the Field carols and stuff. So I've sung this within the last week.
Oh,
So I'm going to be slightly annoying and not as funny as the others, but I'm going to go 2 turtle doves.
Yep, 1-1. Matt Chapman, 1 point. Chris, 1 point. John Lang, the third day of Christmas.
2 French hens.
He's fucking straight in. John's on Google. Isn't he, Chris?
I'm not on Google at all.
I don't think John would understand Google.
So it's 1-1-1.
How old do you think I am? Fucking hell.
It's coming back round to you. Number 4.
4 calling birds.
Yes.
Yes, get the fuck in.
So that's 2 to Chris, 1 to Matt, 1 to John. 5
Everyone's good night out. 5 golden rings.
rings. Absolutely, yeah. So it's 2 to Chris, 2 to Matt, 1 to John. What's 6, John?
6 geese on the hang.
Google these cunts.
It was better last year.
No.
You're cheating.
It was like really funny. These
Not cheating here. Fucking.
play last year's, it's hilarious, right? 2-2-2. These are bastards this year. Chris, number 7.
Is it 7 swans are swimming or something?
No way you knew
I
that.
did know that, actually. I fucking did know
You
that.
dirty bastard.
No, I'm not cheating.
You
Honestly, 100% I'm not cheating. You just can't believe it, can you?
The only other one you would know is
Honestly,
Major Milking.
I haven't got it on the screen. I'm playing the game in the spirit that's intended,
Cheat.
unlike you cheaters.
3-2-2. I'm getting despondent now.
Yeah.
Matt, we come on to 8.
Well, this was the only one I thought Chris would know. It's when you're milking the maids.
Oh, gold.
He's on the Google in the...
Yeah, you're cheating.
Yeah. You're getting them all right.
It is quite a famous piece of work.
Yes, it is. It's not obscure, is it?
It's 3-3-2. John, 9.
Then drummers drumming.
He's deliberately
No,
got that
it's
one wrong just to make
3-3-2.
it fun.
So John's not
He
cheating.
didn't.
It was 9 ladies dancing,
I
John.
didn't know that.
That's what I meant to say, actually. You have the point.
Coming back to Chris, and if he gets this right, I'm going to deduct his fee for this shirt.
Why?
What's 10, Chris?
10 Lords are leaping.
Oh, no way. No way.
This is the biggest
Yeah,
fiddle.
I learned from life, you see. I'm growing as a person, you see, because I knew this was coming up.
Oh, this is ridiculous. If we'd said to Chris, do the 7...
No.
Right,
It's not.
this is where I'm disgusted in you. Right?
I'm not
This is
cheating.
Like 4-3-2. I might have to send you off in a minute.
No.
You've got that, right? Matt, what's 11?
Well, I do know this.
He
but
knows
there's
it.
no way Chris... Like, if we started this and say, what are the days of the week, Chris wouldn't have got that. And now he knows the whole of this.
That's true, yeah.
Anyway, I mean, either I deliberately don't get it right or I get it right. So it's 11 Piper's Pipes. It is just that.
It is. Of course it is.
Oh, I got that
So
one
you've
wrong.
tied with Chris at the moment. John obviously can't win, but John, what's 12?
Have we had Lords of Leaping?
Yeah, long time ago. Last year.
12 spanners spannering.
It's 12 bummers bumming.
Right.
Chris, I urge any listener on this
No.
podcast to listen to last year's show.
Yeah, last
right?
year,
Listen to last
12
year's
months
show.
have elapsed. And I've learnt it.
Yeah,
There you
this
go.
guy has not studied the 12 days
I
of
have.
Christmas since that.
I put the
He
work
hasn't,
in,
he
like
hasn't.
Matt says, it's like the racing league. You put the work in, you get the results.
No,
There's a lesson there for
you're a
everybody.
disgrace.
Put the work
I'm
in.
declaring Matt the winner of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only one who didn't cheat.
He's got enough dough.
yeah.
Dough. How do you know
He's
he's not
cheated.
cheating? Why? Because he's on television? Gives him a certain credibility? No. You're taking his word for it because he's famous. And poor people like me and John, we never get a fucking shake of the stick, see? Them and us, John.
No, I know you.
Them and us, John.
You've AI'd straight away on Google.
No.
You bastard.
No.
Spoilt the shirt.
Ruined it
Unlike
all.
last year, it was funny.
Yeah.
You two goons. There was no AI last year.
Can't you just in your last year's and pretend that my line went down at that point? So you just play last year's.
No.
Yeah, play them two last year's. Absolute disgrace. That's a great shirt. We return on Christmas Eve for the Tipping Podcast. We're back on Sunday to discuss 2025's highs and lows of racing and hopefully cheer you up again before you slit your wrists on New Year's Eve. That's all from us. And I hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.